Iraqi head seeks arms. 7-foot doctors sue hospital. Kicking babies considered to be healthy. Those are the headlines Leno's people love to find and the stuff that keeps bathroom readers in high demand. No, wait. That last part didn't sound right. I meant those little books of goofy facts that are fun to leave in. Never mind. The point is that those were actual newspaper headlines, and while the writer intended one meaning, it was easy for the reader to infer another. It takes a fresh pair of eyes to catch confusing passages, errors in logic, even simple spelling mistakes, and usually that fresh pair of eyes are your own. Of course, proofreading and editing your papers are as important to the writing process as doing research and organizing your ideas. So let's start with the first and most important element of proofreading, anti-procrastinationism. In other words, don't put off writing the paper until the last minute. No one ever really has it written in his or her head. A lot of students say they do their best work at the last minute, that they feel energized by the pressure. However, what it really means is that the students are working hard, but not smart. And if you do it, you won't allow yourself time to catch those simple, point-deducting errors because you're so focused on getting the work done. This leads to the first tip for proofreading: let the paper cool. Finish your work in plenty of time so you can walk away for at least 24 hours. Then come back and read the paper with fresh eyes, when you're more likely to catch mistakes. The second element of proofreading is familiarity. One of the biggest problems writers have in finding errors in their work is familiarity with the content. We tend to see what words and thoughts we expect to read, not what is actually there. So proofreading tip 2 is break up your familiarity with the paper by reading from end to beginning. Start with the last sentence and work to the first. This process forces you to look at each sentence separately. You must also remember to proofread for proper formatting and source citation. Make sure that all sources cited in the paper are listed on your list of sources page. Proofreading tip 3. Have someone else read your paper. This person doesn't have to be an expert in the topic or even have strong writing skills, because if something in your paper doesn't make sense, it won't be hard to spot. The third element of proofreading is that no spell check tool is perfect. While you can use the spelling and grammar tools in your word processing program, you must realize that these tools are not foolproof. For instance, take this passage. Go ahead, do like I did and run that paragraph through spell check. You won't get any spelling errors either. The final major element of proofreading is consistency. Be sure to make changes across the board. In other words, if you change something in one part of the paper, see if it affects other parts of the paper. I had a student who started her paper with a hypothetical story about Bob and Sue. However, after working on the paper for a while, she changed the names to Dave and Carol, but forgot to change their names in the introduction. The end result was that when she referred to the characters in the middle of the paper, my immediate response was, "Who the heck are Dave and Carol?" The same goes for mistakes. Once you find an error, check the rest of your paper to see if it's duplicated. One last tip. Pay attention to the comments of your peer reviewers and, well, me. The feedback and corrections I provide are intended to make the paper better, which ultimately gets you a better grade. I may, as they say, bleed red all over your paper, even if it's done electronically with strike-throughs or track changes. But it will be blood well spilled if it makes your paper stronger, more logical, and free of mistakes.